Hi lovely people, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria. In today's tutorial I'll be looking at how to sew this overbust corset. In our last tutorial we look at the drafting and the cutting aspect, so if you have not watched that tutorial, please kindly go and watch and then come back here and come and continue from here. So in our last tutorial we stopped at the cutting aspect, so we have already cut out the pattern. This is the center front, center back, and then the side back. So this is the pattern we had from our last tutorial. So I've gone ahead to also cut the lining piece for each of the pattern, just as you can see. So I'm using a brown lining for this tutorial. So that is all for the cutting. So we are going to start the stitching properly. Please, if you have not subscribed to the channel, kindly do so as you're about to start. So guys, before that I've gone ahead to cut my wording. I discovered that this video was too long, so I make this part to be so fast so that after this tutorial I'll be dropping another tutorial on how to properly cut your wording. So this is me trying to cut out the wording that we'll be using for this particular tutorial. So after this tutorial I'll be dropping another tutorial on how to cut the wording very well, because adding the wording tutorial here is going to take a lot. So after that I've gone ahead to cut the wording, and then this is what we have. So I've gone ahead to also iron it on the piece, the front, the side front, and the center front, just as you can see. Can you see it? So that is all, and I've also ironed it properly. So what we'll be doing now, we are going to be stitching it together, side to the center and then side to the center. So just the way as I'm directing, we are going to be sewing one of the side to the appropriate center. So just as you can see, so we are going to be sewing it, and then after that we are going to be sewing the lining also. So any part we sew for the fabric, we sew for the lining. So guys, after sewing it, this is what we have. Can you see? This is what we have after joining the front. This is what we have for the front, and I've also gone ahead to join the back. And you know, sewing a bustier or even this overbust corset is not really easy, so you have to really take your time and do it. So anything I did for the main fabric, I also did it to the actual fabric, just as you can see. So now what we'll be doing, we are going to be notching it so that we can iron it properly. We'll be notching the place that have the breast part. Can you see the place that has the wording? So after notching it, we are now going to iron it properly. So we just iron it. Discover that since we haven't ironed it, the thing is just standing anyhow. So this is what we have after ironing it. Can you see that the center of all the stitches lying flat? Can you see the bust part? Everything is laying flat. You won't even notice that there is a wording from the outer part. So guys, this is what we have after ironing. Now we are going to be ruling our line where we'll be attaching the boning in order for us to achieve the overbust corset. So on that center part, I've gone ahead to draw the line. Then on the one that is going down to the bust point, I've also draw another line. Then I'll also be ruling another line on the other side, so that when we put the boning, it will make the corset to stand very well, just as we said is an overbust corset. So guys, after that we are going to be using our boning. So this is a boning that I'm using. This is a sewable boning. We're going to place it on that part that I drew a line, the part that I ironed, the other part, then the upper part which I also drew, just as you can see. So all the parts that I made mention of, we are going to be sewing it all through with the boning. So guys, after sewing it, this is what we have. And remember, I didn't show the back, but you know you are supposed to be adding your boning. So this is what we have for the front after adding our boning, just as you sew your boning to your normal corset. Is that okay? So the boning is only attached to the lining for the front part. Then for the back, I added it to the main fabric. So after that, I'll go ahead to iron it. Now I'll be working properly with the back, so I'll be carrying the appropriate lining from this for the side of the back, join it together and sew it. So guys, after sewing it, this is what we have. I've gone ahead to sew for the two parts. So this is what we have. Can you see? So now what we're doing is we are going to be working with the back in order for us to fix our loop. So I've gone ahead to cut this loop. I use 2.5 inches for it. So what we'll be doing, we're going to be marking 1.5 inch space difference. So I'll give a first mark on the upper part, then from there I'll be coming down with 1.5 inch, and I'll also come down with another 1.5. That's the spacing in between is what 1.5. So after that, I'll pick up my loop and then look at the way I'm going to squeeze it. Can you see? I'll just squeeze it that way, then I'll place it on the first mark that I did. After placing it, then I'll pick my pin and pin it down properly. So guys, after pinning it down, I'll still take another one so that I'll squeeze it so that you guys can see. So this is the second one. I'm also going to squeeze it, then I'll place it on it, then I'll still go ahead to pin it. Can you see? So after pinning it, the next thing we'll be doing is to quickly sew. But I think I'll still use another example so you can see how to quickly squeeze it. So this is the last one, and then this one also I'll just place it like so. So after that, I'll just go ahead to sew it down, and then anything I do to this side, I'll do it to the other side. So guys, this is what we have after fixing the loop. I'll just go ahead to use the lining and place it on it. After placing it on it, I'll sew it down with 1/2 inch, but before then I'll be using my pin to pin it down in order for it to stay in place. So guys, after pinning it down, I'll just go over to the sewing machine and sew it with 1/2 inch. So after sewing it, I'll also carry the boning and place on it. So this is me trying to place the boning on it. That is to say, after I'm done sewing the parts together with the lining, I'm going to carry the boning, place on it, and also sew it down very well in order for it to stay very firm. So guys, after sewing it, can you see what I have after sewing? This is what I'm trying to say. So after sewing it, this is what I have. So I'll just quickly go over to the sewing machine and join the side together. So this is what we have after joining the side. Then we'll just go over to flip the fabric. We're going to flip it to the good face of fit. So guys, after flipping it, this is what we have. So next thing we'll be doing is we are going to iron it properly in order for it to lay very flat. You see that our back is looking so fine and so nice. Exactly. So we'll make sure we iron it. So guys, then back to the front. What we'll be doing now is we are also going to turn it just as we turn the back. So this is the actual fabric, and then this is the lining. I'll be placing the lining right side facing right side. Can you see right side facing right side? So I make sure I place it very well so that no part is shaking. You know, I always use my pin. So after placing it, I'll make sure I carry the pin to pin it properly on all the side. Can you see what I'm trying to do? I'll pin it on the center front also, and then all the side that actually need the pin, I'll pin it in order for me to able to sew it. So this is me trying to place the pin. One thing about placing of pin is that if you don't do it, at the end of the day, you see that the whole thing is shaking. So after that, I'll just go ahead to sew it with 1/2 inch. So guys, after sewing it with 1/2 inch, this is what we have. Next thing we'll be doing is we are going to open it up and then top stitch on the lining fix. So guys, after top stitching, this is what we have. You see that the lining is now relaxing inside the actual fabric. Can you see? This is what we have. Our corset is coming up. So now what we're doing is we are going to turn the bad face now and then pin it down properly. So we're just going to pin it very well, then we are going to sew it down. So this is me trying to pin it. So guys, now after pinning it on this side of the armhole, I'm just going to sew it down, then down to the length of the blouse, and also on this side of the armhole, I'm going to sew it with the 1/2 inch allowance we added, and then this side I'll just use 0.25. So guys, after sewing it, this is what we have. So can you see? This is what we have. We'll just go over to flip it over to the right face of the blouse. So guys, after flipping it over, this is what we have. Can you see the way it's looking so pretty even without ironing? So next thing we'll be doing is I'm just going to go back to the table and iron it properly. So guys, after ironing it, this is what we have. So next thing we'll be doing is, I've also gone ahead to iron the back. Just as you can see, everything is relaxing. So next thing we'll be doing, we are going to be joining this side to this side. Can you see the way that I'm placing it? I'll join this side to the other side. So after placing, I make sure I place it properly. One thing is, if you don't place it properly, at the end of the day, you see that one side is longer than the other. So guys, after placing it, I'll just go ahead to mark my 1 inch allowance and sew it down to the hem of the blouse. You get? So that is a 1 inch allowance that I'm marking. So on that part that I'm marking, that is where I'll be sewing it. Is that okay? So I'll just go ahead to sew it down. So guys, after sewing it down, this is what we have. Our blouse is almost ready. Can you see? Our blouse is almost ready. So next thing we'll be doing is we just go ahead to fold the hem of the cloth, or you can just quickly say the blouse length. We're just going to fold it in, because this is one of the simplest way I do all those things. So before that, I will always pin my work. So after pinning it, then I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew it down. So guys, our blouse is ready, our corset is ready, our overbust corset is ready. So this is what we have at the end of the sewing. I believe this tutorial was helpful. So see you in my next video. Bye. So I actually made this rope for you, but I discovered at the end of the day it was not really entering. So I made use of the black rope I have.